You know, the long oyster characteristic of South Carolina oysters.
Oysters are a staple in the Low Country, but if we don't maintain the habitat they grow in, we may soon find ourselves enjoying less of these shellfish. Andy Jennings is the coordinator for the oyster shell recycling and planting program, and he knows the impact this could have.
It's very important to do it in order to have a sustainable oyster population and oyster harvest. You need to plant back shells or other culture material, of course shells being the best culture material.
The program started in 2002 and has recycled more than 200,000 bushels of shells and has planted over 300,000 bushels.
I love it, and it's been a great thing because we started the oyster shell recycling program in South Carolina, and I had no idea it would take off like this.
Jennings expects to plant 55 bushels this year. That's over 50,000 pounds of shells that will provide much more than a place for oysters to grow.
It creates fish habitat. Inshore fish depend heavily on the oyster reefs for feeding, forage, protection.
From the banks of the marsh all the way to Folly Creek, these shells will help to replenish oyster beds so you can enjoy them for years to come. Empty shells sit miles high in the ocean air as part of their quarantine process. This gets rid of pathogens and exotic species that may contaminate the oyster beds. Ben Dyer is the assistant coordinator for this program and wants to see more shells recycled.
So there's millions of larvae in the water floating, and what they do is they actually will attach themselves onto the already shucked oysters that we plant in the water, and therefore they will attach and grow into new live oysters and create more oyster beds.
As our community continues to go green, recycling oyster shells is just another way to help the environment. Oyster beds can help filter water and create barriers from beach erosion. Shante Manigault, WLCN 18.